Welcome back, everybody. It's Mark with exoticcarplayplace, back at you today to talk about a little different discussion on cars today. And we're really going to hone in on what do your favorite big YouTubers actually earn. I'm going to show you how to get some of that info. And I'm also, before we get started into gathering that information, I'm going to give you some examples of some of my favorite large, big YouTube channels. And I'm going to give you my interpretation roughly of what they earn, how they earn it, and go through that whole onslaught of statistics. But before we get into that, I want to explain a little something. So as a YouTuber, do you realize that YouTubing is any one of three things, really? It's the hobby guy. It's the guy that's doing things to earn a few bucks on the side and does it kind of for fun, but maybe collecting a few dollars. And then there's the business guy. The business guy is truly recognizing an opportunity to cash in on advertisements and advertising agencies or the replacement of that. They realize that there is a place for this type of person that has a certain level of creativity and passion that they can convert to the viewers that will equate to dollars and cents in their pocket. So before we get started on that, I need to explain something. So to be a successful YouTuber, the one thing you have to understand is, number one, you have to be passionate about your genre. If you're not passionate about your genre, you will get to a point where you hit the wall and you'll find that it will be very difficult to continue on consistently. You'll get to a point where you'll be, say, a year in, you'll see, I've got 1,000 subscribers, but you're growing very slowly or you're not yielding a lot of money. And then you start to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Am I wasting my time? That would suggest you're probably doing things for the wrong reason. That's why I would say start out with a genre that you really feel passionate about. Maybe it's video games. Maybe it's sports. How about music or makeup? Whatever it is that you feel passionate about, that passion will convert viewers because your passion will exude energy and that will get people excited. And that excitement and consistency will drive your success. And so a lot of the YouTubers that you'll find, the big YouTuber channels, the car YouTuber channels that have found success, in most cases are those that have been consistent. They've been around for a few years and they work at it virtually daily. Now, you don't have to post daily. That's not what I'm suggesting. What I'm simply stating is that consistent offerings. Sometimes it's only one video a week. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 videos a week. Sometimes it's a daily vlog. Whatever that is, you will find what works for you. Again, coming back to the overall passion and what you how you want to decide to proceed is really the main thing here. Because again, if you don't pick the right genre, you're going to likely not succeed. And I'm going to show you, we're going to walk through some of the statistics and I'm going to explain to you how much these people earn roughly and why, and how does that come about. Now, before we get into this, I need to explain YouTube has its own sort of sign off. When you sign up on YouTube and you monetize your videos, YouTube states that you cannot advertise how much you earn on YouTube, how much they exactly pay you. What we can do, however, is I'm going to walk you through the great little website. It's called Social Blade, and a lot of you guys are very familiar with that, I'm sure. But we're going to walk through that, and I'm going to display for you some of my personal favorite large YouTube channels, car YouTube channels, and how much those folks earn. And then I'm also going to show you roughly what I earn and how I can kind of convert that in terms of, they'll give you a range, but I'll tell you roughly what I make, and I'll tell you kind of what you can expect, extrapolate out, and it'll tell you basically what most of other YouTubers are earning as well, based on that same type of interpolation, if you like. So let's pull up Social Blade and see what these great folks are making. So let's take a look. So firstly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you, I've already got this friend of mine, his webpage on here, or his Social Blade page. It's socialblade.com. And basically, this is a good friend of mine. He lives down in Florida. We've really essentially met through the networking in YouTube. And he is what I would consider the example of a great guy that's passionate about what he does, but he's doing it for the other end of the spectrum. He posts about a video, I would say, a month. And as a result, the payoff is more or less in line with the frequency of uploads. And so if you look at the statistics, he's got about 60 uploads and about 4,400 subscribers. And of course, with that, here is the full statistics of his channel. Now, if you look at this, currently, they tell you he's making an estimated monthly earning between $5 and $81. Well, it's neither. It's not going to be 5, it's not 81. That's the peak at either end. Now, traditionally, what I have found is it's somewhere in the middle. And I'll show you my channel here in a moment, and it'll give you an idea. Of course, that translates into $60 or $1,000, up to $1,000 in a year. That gives him about roughly $80 per month at the peak. So of course it's less than that, but that 80 would be, about 2/3 of that would be probably about $50 a month, and that falls somewhere smack dab in the middle of that range. He posts a lot of car videos, but he's a smaller channel with, like I said, just under 5,000 subs, and with a monthly post, that's what he's yielding. So let's show you mine. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to type in my channel, which is exoticcarplayplace. The way it turns out, it's actually ready to go. I'll do a search. And there's my channel now. Now, I would consider myself a small channel, but up and coming. And the reason I say that is I have full intention on building and developing my channel into a large scale. I've been at this now for a little bit, probably a good solid couple of years, and I'm starting to pick up some momentum. Now, as you'll notice, I've actually got 360 uploads, so I've got a lot of videos in circulation. I'll be honest, the first bunch of videos were a little bit, a little rough around the edges, but you learn as you go, and I think I'm producing a pretty nice video these days. Now, you'll notice my subscriber count's around 11,000. My video views is about almost 3 million views. So, in terms of overall channel views, I'm actually doing quite well. That's over a course of course, about 3 years. And as you see there, it started in January 15, but really that first year, I only posted a few low-level videos. So I really don't even consider that. I really didn't get started until really mid-2016, where I really got serious about it. And so scrolling down, we look at my statistics. They rate me as a B-, which I consider that actually quite good, given my level. I've got 365,000 views in the last 30 days. And out of that, I've got about 1,700 new subs in the last 30 days. So 1,700 subs in the last month. Quite solid for sure for a channel of this size. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Now, it shows me a range. This is the yearly earnings of $1,400 to $22,000 a year. Now, I know traditionally I'm somewhere in the middle, and this is an easier number to look at. So this is the monthly dollar range. So it's between $116 and $1,900. Now, I know for a fact where I'm at right now on my analytics, that puts me very close to the top end of the range. So that puts me at, let's just say hypothetically, this month I'm going to make around $1,600 in that month. That puts me at about 3/4 the way up that scale. So if you go 75% of the top end of that scale, that gives you a pretty close approximation as to what you're going to expect for your monthly salary. Now let's get into some of my favorite YouTubers. I'm going to scroll and we're going to go Doug DeMuro. He is easily one of my favorite YouTube channels. He is, what I kind of aspire to be eventually at some point. That's certainly the direction I'd like to go at some point. He really owns the review channel. He is the guy that he leads the way in this. He beats all uncomers, even the big names, the Motor Trends and all those guys. I know they do more action content, but Doug really owns the reviews, and I love his style. So we're going to go into that, and he's going to be an example of one of the biggest YouTubers around right now in the car genre. And Doug, of course, he's got 335 uploads, 2.2 million subscribers with about 526 million views versus my 3 million. So he's got substantially amount of more views than I have. But we will scroll down to his statistics. You'll notice he's a B+. I was a B-. And going into this, now, looking at his range, he's somewhere between 107,000 and 1.7 million. Based on my interpolated values of about 75%, I would honestly put Doug's annual salary currently at probably about $1.2, $1.3 million. That would be my estimation. He's making just over $1 million a year. And of course, on the monthly, that puts him probably around $100,000 a month. And so those are numbers that are very significant. I don't know of too many blue-collar or even white-collar jobs that are paying $1 million a month. Sorry, I just don't, guys. There are jobs out there, absolutely. But this here is a way that a person like Doug is able to express his own creativity on the screen and do it and march to his own drum. So, congrats and kudos to Doug. Great work. That's the kind of money one of the big guys is making. So let's go down to one of my other favorites. And now this is another up and coming. And where I can appreciate this gentleman is the fact that, as you can see, Stradman, that would be James. And so why I appreciate where this gentleman's coming from is he's got a lot of uploads. His channel started in 12, so he's got about 6+ so odd years under his belt. But look at his video views. He's at 240 million views with about 1.2 million subscribers. And what I like about this guy is he was, your classic blue-collar worker kind of guy. You could maybe call it white-collar. He was an accountant background. And so he had this job that he sounded like kind of a dead-end job. He wasn't all that excited about it. Schooling sort of evolved him into that line of work. He got to the point where he was fired. He was let go because of a lack of work. And he decided to get into this full-time. Well, I would say that certainly was not an issue for him. It definitely worked out in his favor. Although that being said, he made some big gambles along the way. James put a lot of things on hawk to buy that Lamborghini, which was the basis for his channel, coincidentally. But it paid off. That gamble paid off. And now if you look, James from Stradman is up around, I would put him at about $30,000 a month, or at about probably $350,000 a year. Pretty darn good salary if you ask me. Good job there, Stradman, or James if you will. You've done some great things. And again, I love the content. Here's a guy that's a vlogger that just kind of lives the dream. He's traveling all over the world, enjoying the travel. Now, see, that brings me to another discussion. This dollar amount, whatever that is, large amounts of it is consumed. He's paying for this Lamborghini, parts, repair, maintenance. Now he's putting a lot of miles on it because he does long distance highway trips across the country. He's doing a lot of travels. He was in Dubai here recently, as well as he's traveling to Europe and doing a lot of expensive trips across the world, which consumes a large amount of this income. So he's funneling a lot of that income back into the channel, which is what I want to do as well. Because essentially, that's the way you can give back to the viewer. The viewers are following you for a reason, and therefore, I believe in giving back to the viewer because the viewer is following you for that exact point. They want to see what you have to say. So why not live your life through the camera's eyes and share that with the viewers? So let's get on to the next one. Another gentleman that has been around for some time now is, I'm sure anybody in the car world is aware of Vehicle Virgins. Everybody is aware of Parker, and there's been a fair amount of discussions around him and some of the drama that he's been involved with, for example, his previous partner. This gentleman here has done a lot of things, and as you can see, he's been around since 2012 as well, very similar to Stradman, James. However, look at the amount of uploads. He's got 1,200 uploads, almost 1,200 uploads under his belt. He has been working very, very diligently, very hard, producing a large amount of videos, probably a video every other day, or possibly in some cases every day. So Parker's been producing a lot of videos. As a result, he's sitting around 1.8 million subscribers and 446 million views overall for his channel. Now, he's a B rating, which is interesting. He is a very high rated, highly respected guy in the biz. I love watching his content. It's, you may not always like every car he's talking about, but it's always engaging. And honestly, he has a great way of delivering a lot of his content. And honestly, like I said, I've been following Parker for some time just because he's an interesting guy to watch. Now, if you watch here, look, the subscriber or the actual count of dollars he earns a month, he's very similar to Stradman, probably a little bit more, but he's actually sitting around, I would put him at about $45,000 a month, or about 700, well, that would be about $500,000 per year. So he's making about $500,000 a year on Vehicle Virgins. So good job there, Parker. That's exceptionally well done. And see, it's this consistency that I spoke of earlier. I guarantee you, he had some ups and downs along the way, but it's the perseverance that keeps you going, and it's the perseverance that gets you success. Now he's making $500,000 a year, and the way he's going, he's probably going to eventually make $1 million plus a year, the way things are headed. So anyway, good job, Parker. Now another gentleman that is a little bit more kind of in line with where my channel content is today is Justin Buse. And here's an example of a young man that really has a strong focus on quality. And if you watch his content, it becomes pretty obvious why he quickly gained 100,000 subscribers. Now, he's been working since 2012, and naturally he has not found the success since 2012 that somebody like Parker has or Stradman. However, if you look at the number of uploads, that's almost directly proportional to the amount of uploads that he's got. Parker's up around that well over 1,000 uploads, and Justin's, a fifth of that. So Justin here, what I like about Justin is the fact that he does a lot of great BMW content, but he has a strong focus on the quality. You could tell he's very artistic in a lot of his photography and a lot of his video clips. He does a lot of great artistic work, and he caters to a brand right now that I'm currently driving daily, which is BMWs. And so I've got a strong focus on that. So of course I naturally gravitate to some of his content. Now Justin's doing quite well. 100,000 subscribers. If you want to know what a 100,000 subscriber channel looks like, well, right now Justin is earning about $34,000 a year. And with 34 grand a year there, that's the peak. He's realistically probably only about 25K a year. Is that enough to retire on? I would say probably not. So that may or may not be a full-time job. At 100,000 subscribers like Justin has, that could possibly be a full-time job, but obviously you're not going to be able to sustain large expenses. You're going to live relatively meagerly. You're not going to be able to buy all the expensive supercars that you're finding on some of these other channels like Salamandrin or Vehicle Virgins or even Daily Driven Exotics, who coincidentally is another one of my channels that I love to follow because he is a fellow Canadian. And by the way, he's up and coming and he's actually growing at a pretty fierce rate. So those are the guys that are, generating large income. And guys like Justin, not so much. I would put Justin as a little more than a hobbyist, but that's a decision he's likely had to make in the past. And as a matter of fact, I've seen a video of his where he had to make that decision. And he talked about that decision where, do I continue on as a hobby or do I create content for a business perspective, to create and generate capital? Or, what do I want to do? That's a decision you are going to have to make. And that's a decision I've made. And most of these YouTubers at some point cross that path. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video. I want to share with you how much some of the biggest YouTube car channels are making today, what I'm making today roughly, and is it something worth your while? Again, I have to express the fact that if you decide this is the thing for you, it is not just a hobby thing. If you want to make money at YouTube, it becomes a lifestyle. If you want to give your audience the value of what you're creating, you've got to create it frequently, on time, every time. And it's got to be of good quality content, consistent with what your brand is all about. That's really what it boils down to. That's how you're going to see some growth. If you're all over the map doing random videos and scatterbrained, that's not going to work for you. You really have to have a genre in mind and really narrow in on what you want to talk about. Be passionate about it, be deliberate, and give the audience what they need to hear. Anyway, everybody, I really hope you enjoyed the video. It's Mark here again with Exotic Car Play Place. Thought I would share my perspective on how much some YouTubers are making, including myself. And it's very important that if you decide to do this, that you're deliberate about it. So anyway, make sure you give me a thumbs up, like, share the video for sure as well. And naturally, please subscribe to the channel, guys. If you like some of the cars I've talked about, Lamborghinis, hey, I've got a Lambo right here. This is my Gallardo here, of course. As well, you'll notice I have this wonderful BMW M5 behind me here. So if that's something that piques your interest, I also have an X5 diesel for those that aren't aware of my channel. Please make sure you give my channel a subscription. Thanks again, everybody. I hope to see you on the next one. Catch you soon. Bye-bye.